Okay, so this is another session I did in Henderson, Nevada with Paul on the 19th. For this one, I took down the target number and then immediately drew the ideogram, and I actually got two different ideograms. The first one, you kind of have, I gotta remember which direction I went here. I think it was from this direction. Yep, rolling over across. This felt like an angle to me, angle rising up, curving over, peaking, drifting down. It felt hard, and I immediately just put structure. The second ideogram, we had rising up, rounding over, curving around, rolling down, curving under, and it felt firm, so I put land. So we had two gestalts, and when I got into S2, it took me a couple minutes to kind of get going, but we had grassy, red, green, blocky, shiny. I had some kind of an AOL of like a window and an airplane. I don't know if that's was just my mind picking up on the room or outside where I was at. But you know, AOLs, like I said, normally AOLs tend to not be correct, but they can have elements that are similar to the target. In this case, these were not super relevant that I could tell unless there was an airplane or windows or something at the location, but that's the start I've got off to. The interesting part is comes here though, once I think I got a better connection to the signal line. But I got pink, breezy, gray, cementy, tannish gray, tall, rounded, AOL break. This felt to me very much like a pillar. I kind of drew it off to the side here, but this one, I think somewhere in here I talk about, yeah, right here, grooved. It felt very grooved to me, like I could have almost feel the grooves in it. Grayish, brown, dirty, black, AOL, kind of like dirt. I felt there's some dirt there. Again, the AOL came back with the window frame, so I have to put that down. If it pops in your head, you have to put it down on paper. That's kind of the rule. Rectangular, crunching, gravelly was like, imagine if I was walking there, what that kind of felt like. I got some greens again. AOL break, I just had it in my head, some kind of vegetation. Boxy, fumey, I think that this is fumey. Maybe just that the smell of the air was a little bit, you know, I don't recall, but this is another image that I got, kind of like multiple of these kind of like pillars here. Then I got kind of smooth, cold, rough, bumpy, grooved, sandy white, again, cementy, again, that kind of theme of cementy. AOL break, this came in pretty strong, was like marble. And then I had another AOL break of steps or stairs. So I wrote down stepped. I had another AOL here, something about flowers. Again, like we have to name all of our AOLs, no matter what they are, we have to put them on there. Now another AOL came in next, basically like a flagpole, but I had the kind of hilly green, white, gray, triangular, which I actually don't know if that's I don't know if I'm supposed to put that in stage 3. I think that's something that comes later on, but I can't remember though. Wrapping around, then I had an AOL kind of the Lincoln Memorial is what I got reminded of. Boxy, again, stepped, kind of towering, cavernous, empty, towering, tall, rounded, grooved. Again, there's multiple of whatever this is. And this is dimensional, right? So when we start getting into the dimensions in stage 2, usually you get a bunch of those and then you go into your AI break and you kind of describe how you feel about the place. And it just felt the kind of like respectful. It was the feeling I got. So then we go into sketching. I kind of had an AOL of kind of like a fountain, like a circular, something kind of circular like this. The AOL, the analytic overlay was something like a fountain, but this was the kind of shape I was getting. Then I just went ahead and drew kind of what I had in my mind. I knew that there's something like steps, stairs. I went ahead and drew just like multiple pillars, and I felt like even beyond that, there was like more of something like up like this, just, you know, something like that. I kind of tried to intuitively move my pen around, and I felt like there needed to be some kind of curved circular thing here. I wanted to kind of draw it on the other ones, but I actually didn't. I probably should have, but I did draw it there. And when I was drawing the top here, I really didn't know where to go with it. You can tell this part's not very deep detailed. I actually wasn't sure, like when I was drawing this, it didn't really feel, I was like, I feel like visually to me, it was like there should be like some kind of roof here. So I started to sketch it, but you can see it's not as pronounced because I didn't really know where to go with it. And that'll show up later. I felt like there's some kind of like a long pathway. I just put, this down here, but you can see AOL, like a long pathway. And again, this element of like stepped stairs, like big kind of like these marble or concrete, like marble slabs or steps was really, really prominent in my mind. So I made this is a summary of the target. So the target is a structure and land featuring green, grassy, hilly landscape. And there is at least one structure here that is boxy with elements of white, gray, brown with tall, grooved, rounded elements that suggest the AOL of pillars. The structure has concrete, bumpy, cementy elements, a repeating stepped element as if there are multiple wide steps. There's also an AOL suggestive of the Lincoln Memorial, and then a target end, 1615, and this is the target. So these are not all the photos that I actually looked at. This, though, is very much similar to what I was drawing, and you can tell there's maybe at one point there was an actual, I would assume that there was a actual roof kind of piece to this. I don't know, I'd have to look up the history. But when I was drawing it, it was hard to figure out what to draw because there actually wasn't anything there. Maybe that's what was going on there. You do have a long kind of pathway here. There's a lot of the other things that show up, as you could probably imagine, that I was kind of getting a sense of. And actually, if you look at, there is some of like green in the background here, kind of vegetation and whatnot. But if you look at other photos of this national park, there actually, and I don't know where in these photos it would be, but there actually is a very large kind of amphitheater with stepped stairs in a circular, or almost like, not entirely circular, but you know how an amphitheater is kind of wraps around and it's all stairs and kind of flat in the middle. That is kind of the image what I was getting from the kind of that fountain-like thing and the steps and the stairs and whatnot. And so I thought this was really cool. There's always room for improvement, but for what I got and how well it matched, I thought this was awesome. So that's another really, really cool session I wanted to share with you guys. And I might post a couple more of these, but I'm going to be doing more practice exercises actually. And so I'll probably continue to post some of them on this channel. So stay tuned for that.